Hi Flosstube, it is Helen D. It's a Monday. I don't know what day it is. I'm surprised I know it's a Monday. October 6th. I'm going to put this right in Do Not Disturb. I am just back from Stitch New England retreat. Do not disturb. Pharmacy can't call me. And I thought we'd talk Stitch New England retreat. This ended up being a working day, right? You get home, you do laundry, you go to the grocery store. I knew I had more to do today, and I didn't know my husband was off today, and he's hoping to rip out the rest of the garden so he can put the rye in, and I'm like, I need those herbs. So I have roasted tomatoes out of the oven, ready to mix a sauce. While they're cooling, we will go through this stuff so that then this stuff can be put away. So we will talk about retreat. I'll show you what I worked on, because I did actually stitch, and then show you all of the goodies. There's a lot of goodies. Spoiler alert, I didn't buy a thing. So there's that. And I know retreat videos are not for everyone, so that's why I'm gonna do what I stitched first, and then you can, you know, go move right on to the next video if retreat videos kind of aren't your thing. So real quick, Stitch New England is an annual retreat. It is put on by the shop Stitch New England. The retreat is in Warwick, Rhode Island. The shop just moved, and I'm not exactly sure the town that it's in, but it's really close to Warwick, Rhode Island. It is owned by Pam and Kevin. Pam is Good Enough Stitches. Pam, I just forgot your YouTube channel. Stitching in the Land of Good Enough. It's been a long weekend, folks. Stitching in the Land of Good Enough. So they put on the retreat. Like I said, this is the third one. It's at the, I kept calling it the Crown Royal, but it's not the Crown Royal. It's at a hotel in Rhode Island. It's great. It's lots of space, nice big ballroom. Didn't feel crowded at all, right? We had a great time. There was great shopping, great people. We had a good time. So it is happening next year. It will be the first weekend of October. Again, I'll put the dates down below. It is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday retreat. It starts at 3 o'clock Thursday. We have all day Friday. We have all day Saturday until midnight. And I was there when Kevin played the music to shush us out of the room at midnight on Saturday. So details down below. Registration typically opens in January for like past attendees, and then I believe general registration is like beginning of February. So just keep an eye out. I'm sure there's a mailing list that you can get on for more information. So check below and I'll put some details. So here's what I stitched. Did I bring too many projects? Yes. I think I brought 4 things, and then the night before decided I'd like a new start. And then the morning of, we got the monthly freebie chart from Primrose Cottage, and my sister Donna was driving down here, and I'm like, hey, you got time to print that out for me? Because she can print in color and the library's not open yet. So she printed that out for me. She says, I printed it out for me too. I didn't end up starting that, but so I had 6 projects. I think I worked on 4. So here we go. I did work on Fall Folk Dragon from Tiny Modernist. This is the one that I had an area that could be filled in, and then I could do other bits if I needed more things. I just got the filling done. I got the filling that was ready to be done, right? I still have half the thing to go, but I have to put the stuff in there, and then I can just fill in. So I got some dark blue fill-in done. I don't know what fabric this is on. I know it's a 14 count Aida, and it's Picture This Plus, but I don't know what fabric it is. We'll see if I wrote it down. If I didn't write it down, that's probably because it wasn't labeled. Storm, 14 count Picture This Plus Storm. It's a really nice gray. So that one got a little work. Also in this bag, apparently I had a stitch finish. Retreat finish, because this is one of Donna's. I came back one time from yapping, and this was on my space, and I said, oh, Am I taking that home with me? So that's one of Donna's that she got done. This is Stitches by Ethel. Music in the Woodlands. I had stitched this, although she changed her little squirrel to gray because we have gray squirrels up here. So that will get finished. I did a few strands of fill-in of brown on Real Comfort. Not a whole lot to write home about. Somewhere in here, a few rows. So then I got bored of that. Real Comfort, Plum Street Samplers. Here's the chart. And I was talking to some other friends. A lot of people were working on this, and a couple of us are considering. One of them is going to take the words out and put them across the bottom. And then I'm considering taking this, flipping it, so that's just on this side and there are no words. That's like a decision for 3 years from now. Let's be real, I'm nowhere near there, so. But we talked about it. So there's that one. This one is my potion bottle. This one got a decent amount of work. I worked on it a lot Saturday. So these are the potion bottles by Emma Congdon. This is the chart from Cross Stitcher magazine. It's in the October issue, which you can buy just single issues online. And I'm doing Web of Lies. 3 strands over 2 squares, 25 count Lugana. Vintage Stormy Night Lugana. And that's where I got. So, I mean, I had like this when we started, so I got all this done. So, I got that done. And then my new start, my foot was itchy. My new start is in this new bag I made for the retreat, because you need a new retreat bag. This is Acorn Hollow, this line, and it must be Moda because I got it from 123 Stitch and they sell Moda. So those are the little critters, and I did that for the top. I decided to start the one chart that I bought from Marketplace, Needlework. It wasn't a Marketplace chart, but I pre-ordered it at the time of Marketplace, and it is Autumn Trio from With a Needle and Thread. I still have not decided if I want to do them 3 separate or all together. So I just brought my big giant piece of fabric and started in the bottom left, and then I can make up my mind later. And that's what I got done. So I got 3. Well, if I had put a stitch in there, I would have 3 of these done. So I have 3 of these done, minus 1 stitch I'm gonna have to go back in and put on that top little point. So that's what I got done on that. This is an older Color and Cotton. Oatmeal. It was the August 2021 Fabric of the Month. So it's an oatmeal 28 count Lugana from Color and Cotton. I'm using the Called For flosses on this. It's a mix. They're all fancy floss, but it is a mix. That won't go back in the bag. I need to leave this out anyway because I need color copies at the library today. I need a working copy of that because it was last minute. The library was closed. So that's what I worked on. So if you're not really into retreat recap videos, I'll see you next week. It will be a regular update. We'll do the regular things, but the rest of this will be kind of talking retreat. My table is still full. So I'm not sure the total number we had this year. It was different than last year. There were 7 people per table. I don't know how many tables there were. I'm guessing around 225-ish is the number. 215, 235, like it's somewhere in there. It was less than in years past because the layout of the room was different, so that the annex, the shopping area, could be right kind of part of the ballroom that's blocked off, but it's real close for us so that we could get in and out real close. So it was a bit of a change. There were people there from all over. Texas, Indiana, Tennessee, you know, all over New England and Pennsylvania, and there was a lot of people that flew in, a lot of people drove, Canada, right? We had a great crew. There were some people I know that had to cancel last minute. There's been a lot of COVID going around in the Northeast. That's actually what I had 2 weeks ago. When I was sick, I ended up testing, and that is what I had. My first time. That was a surprise. So I was like, oh no. But it was early enough that I was testing negative enough, like long enough, and felt great. So I didn't have to cancel, but I was a little concerned, let me tell you. But that was okay. So we got in a little late because I drove, and I'm a nervous city driver and I go real slow in the city, and we ended up in downtown Providence, and I got turned around. There was a U-turn involved. There was a few wrong ways involved, but we got there. So when we went in, we had already kind of made some plans with some other friends to sit, and 2 of them were already there, so they saved the table. So I sat with, it was myself, my sister, Amy from Two Crossed Stitchers, Cindy, who is from Tennessee, that my friend Cheryl had sat with at Library Stitchers, I believe, so they wanted to sit together. Cheryl, Rebecca. Cheryl and Rebecca and Donna and I are all from the main group. And then we had an empty seat that we just left the balloon on the table. That's how Pam does it. If there's a balloon at your table, there's a seat available, so that if you're kind of one of the ones coming in late, or you don't know anyone and you're going by yourself, you can look for a table with a balloon. There's a seat there. So we left our balloon out, and then Verna from New Jersey needed a table. She sat with us. So that was our 7 seats. So at the tables, we had a Stitch New England bag, tote bag. I'm considering, and I think it would be fun, it just sounds like work, to take, we all get tote bags, right, like this, to take our tote bag and turn it into a project bag. It shouldn't be that hard. It just seems like work. So we got a tote bag. There was also a chart from Samplers and Such, Rebecca Dory. This is Becky. She's a local Rhode Island stitcher. She's a designer. This is from 2006. Like this, she designed a while ago, but she had a trunk show there with her charts, and she gave one to all of us. And then this little box. Then you went up and you got your name tag, and the name tag was in this little packet that had a little chart designed by Pam from Stitch New England, and a little piece of fabric from Atomic Ranch that they had dyed a special color. It's called Cranberry Bog. Mine is a little lighter, right? They're all different, right? Because you cut them from big pieces. My sister's was really red. So mine is a 16 count Ada. So we didn't really catch on because we're all too busy yapping and not thinking. The chart on this fabric is designed to fit on top of this box. So when she told us that later, the whole room was like, oh. So that was fun. So in said little box was a little box, Stitch New England tape measure, a pack of pony needles, and flosses. These are NPI silks, I believe, to complete the design that goes on the box. So that's the thing. And then this flips down, and we had a needle minder made by Stephanie, the New England Stitcher. Stitch New England. Cranberries were the theme this year, and this really fun counting pin. So they were in the top of our little box. So that was like your table registration goodie bag, your goodie box. So that was, oops, I left my tape measure out. That was at the table. And then, as has been kind of happening at most retreats, a lot of retreats lately, people give table gifts to your table mates. And then there's always people that go around. Some people give things, little things to everyone, or you might have, you know, these are my table gifts, but I also have some friends I know sitting over there, and I brought a little something for their table, that kind of thing. There was not as much, the last couple of retreats I've been to, there has not been as much of like everyone going around with floss drops and different things, which honestly makes it a little less overwhelming. So we'll see where that trend is going. People might be more focused on their table gifts instead of an everyone gift, right? 200, 300 things, that's a lot of things. So we did still have a couple of those, but that's a lot of things. So my table gifts are buried. So I'll do the like friend gifts first. First of all, it's a gift, but I had asked her for it. Sarah, who's good friends with Stephanie, the New England Stitcher, and has appeared on a few of her videos. Sarah dyes fabric, and she dyes gorgeous fabric. She would love to be able to sell her fabric. She's not quite there yet, like getting logistically set up. So I had gotten a couple of pieces of fabric. I was thinking of stitching medicine and poison on them, so it was over the summer. And they were fox and rabbit fabric, you know, when you order stuff off a website, and sometimes they come in and they're not what you're expecting. And that's what was with these. The pictures must have been from a linen, and mine were in Aida, and they had no modeling, and they were really bright. So at Library Stitchers over the summer, I said, hey, Sarah. She wasn't able to go, oh, not Library, it was Stitch Made. I said, if I send these home with Stephanie, the next time you're dyeing, can you just throw them in the pot? Surprise me, darken them up, add a little zhuzh to them. So she did. And then she brought them back to me. So I don't even remember what colors these were originally, but they're great now. So this was super, super bright pink. And she added it like some darker reds. So now it's this really pretty, like really pretty pinky. I was just thinking, I don't know if I want to do it on this one or I have another one upstairs. The Jingle Ball, one of the classes, is pears, Christmas pears from Annie B's, and they're done on a red. But I was thinking like they look really sweet on a fabric, like a pinkier fabric. So there's number one. And then the other one was a purple, which you know I love, but it was like a solid purple. So I'm like, you know, spooky that one up. So she did. So she added like blacks and browns. And the modeling always looks starker, right, when you're on camera. So this one's awesome. This will be a great Halloween piece now. So thank you, Sarah. So that's what she did there. And then she also gave me one of the gifts that I believe this is what she made for her table. And it was a pocket project pouch. Is that what she called it? Purse project bag for that on-the-go stitching. And she put in a needle and a skein of black and white. And this really pretty fab, you know, quilted bag. These are great for Mill Hills. Sarah and I are both big fans of Mill Hills. So that's what came from Sarah. Also from Sarah's table, it was Sarah and Stephanie and Brandy from B&E Stitchery, Nisi from Because We Stitch. Her cousin Kathy wasn't able to make it this time, but hopefully in the future. Jill from Jilly Bean's Creative Candy Jar. Lisa Harvey, handmade by Harvey. She makes gorgeous bags with a lot. She's great with machine embroidery. And then her friend Linda. So I think that was their table. I spent quite a bit of time at that table too. We kind of, when a spot opened up, I would move over. So Brandy gave folks at my table one of her table gifts, and she put together, and this is a great idea. I told Donna later, I'm like, I actually had that idea. And Brandy and I had the same idea, so she just had a little card, you know, from Brandy. She attached a finishing board, which a lot of times this time of year, you can find the little boards like this in the autumn time. I got a square one. I think Donna got a circle one, like they were a little different. And then a piece of floss, and everyone's was a little different, which was cool to kind of see different dyers, different flosses. So mine is called Bernard the Mouse, and it's a silk from Be Stitch Me, and it's a really cool gray. What I did for their table is I had ordered some floss a while ago from Pirate and Robin, and I ordered some that I wanted, and then I ordered 7 extra skeins in different colors, and I put them with some candies, and then it's like you get to see different colors from the same dyer, and it's a dyer that might be new to you, so I went around and sprinkled. Stephanie, this is still in this little bag. Stephanie gave me, she made me this little like it's a little bookmark. It's the magnetic. It can be a bookmark. It can be, you know, anything. It's got an H. It's purple. And then she made these cool little clips that you can put on your project. To be frogged. To be fudged. And in a timeout. So you can clip them, right? So that you don't forget if you have a whip and it's totally frustrated you and you're just like, oh, I'm not dealing with this right now. But you can clip that on there to be like later, was there something I needed to do with this? And it will kind of remind you of that. So that was from Steph. Here's 2 charts that I did. These were headed for the freebie table, but sometimes, you know, when you bring your stuff down, you drop it on your table first so your table mates can go through it. So I took these from Cindy. To Spring from Berta Gervais and An Ode to Libraries, Heartstring Sanctuary. So that's what I came home with. I didn't get anything else from the freebie table. I brought a ton of stuff to the freebie table. Cheryl and Donna went through my stuff on the way down because I have a lot of people that send stuff into me, which is great, and I share it with my friends, and then I pile it up and I bring it down and throw it on the freebie table. They started looking through it in like Westbrook, and they were going through, and Donna's like, are we in New Hampshire yet? And I'm like, we just went through the York tolls. So they were looking through that bag for more than an hour and 15 minutes to get through the whole bag. It was a lot of stuff. This also came from Brandy. This little bat, I'll tuck him away from Emmy. Okay. Lisa Harvey, handmade by Harvey. She gave me one of the things she had made for her table as well. So not only does she embroider amazingly, she's clearly awesome at paper crafts too, because she made these little bags with little lobsters. And then they had like a bag charm or floss bling, right, with our initials, and that's machine embroidered. And then in it, she had on the cork a key ring, right? You can use these for all kinds of things. And then she made these. She made these dead lobster pillows. She said every time you said, now I'm thinking that every time, because a red lobster is a dead lobster. So she embroidered these and then made these sweet pillows to put them on. So that was cool. I'll put that in with, I'm gonna put it right in with my summer stuff. I'll go in my summer bag. Okay. And then Lisa also went around, I don't know if she did these for all the tables or just kind of like I said, you have friends at another table, but she gave me one of these, which is a little bag of gummies. And she embroidered these floss rings of skeins of floss. How cool is that? So you can pop that on your bag. I'm sure those will get eaten. Linda from their table, hers is a little buried. Whoop. She gave me, again, something she shared with her table. And it's, sometimes people kit up a chart, right? Like we've mentioned this before. This is a card that I'm pretty sure she made. Gorgeous handmade Halloween card. She kitted up from the Stitcher Hood, Quaker Pumpkin. So she gave them, I'm like, what's this? The card was in this. A piece of fabric and the DMCs so that you could work on that. In a little pouch. Oh, and it's, she even put the name of the fabric in there. That's nice. So that was from Linda. All right. Also from that table, Stephanie had gone around, not Stephanie, Sarah had gone around and gave out some little bags of finishing fabric. Happy finishing. Sarah is Rhode Island Lighthouse Stitcher on Instagram. So it was some trim, some lace, and some little squares of finishing fabric, which are perfect for the backs of your projects. Like that's another, I know people sometimes like to watch retreat recaps to get ideas, right? If you have scraps, you can cut up little finishing bundles, and that can be your little table gift. So actually there was another Roxanne who was not at my table, but she tracked me down. She made for me, I believe she made it, she gave me this little bundle of finishing fabric and then this little cabochon with an owl. And they're going through, I believe she said it was her mother, but it may be her mother-in-law. They're going through her fabric stash and trying to like whittle it down and sell off fabric stash. So she, I believe everyone at her table for their table gift got fabrics. She is, I looked at her Etsy shop last night. They've started an Etsy shop to try and sell some of these farmers fabrics. It is Farmer's Daughter Sew. Right there. I'll put it down below too. And she has some great bundles of fat quarters. Very affordable too, like for finishing. So if you're in the market. We had this little bundle. So a little sticker and a needle threader and one of those little wands to get your scraps off and a playing card. And Karen, who normally, we've sat with Karen and Lori the last couple of years, so they were right next to us, and Karen gave me a couple. You can use them as project cards or just in scrapbooking, right? Whatever you want to do. There was some frogs. Leslie gave out these teeny tiny travel frogs, and they're like stuck to this paper. So you can take your travel frog with you. Wherever you may wander, wherever you may roam, this tiny frog will journey along with you and safely bring you home. As long as it safely doesn't make us unpick any stitching. And then we had another little frog passed out that I tucked in here so no kitties would get to it. And then Mary Lou from Two Cross Stitchers made me this, the pouch that you can put your phone in. Even my giant phone will fit. And it's got a little zipper. Now, question. I believe this pattern is called the Call Me Bag from By Annie's. And this one's a little different than I've seen before because it's a little squarer. So Mary Lou might have Mary Lou'd her own pattern. I would not be surprised. Does anyone know any place that sells these? Because I get questions. There were questions on my video where I showed what I was packing, and I'm gonna get questions. So if people know where you can get these, let me know and I will let you know. So, because I know a lot of people would like to have one of these, and they seem to be something that's not sold as well. So, because I like my name tags in there, I put my room key in there. I put my loser raffle tickets in the back, in the bottom, and then like I said, the phone fits in the back. There's a vitamin C drop in the back, so that was really fun. Okay, and then Eileen found me and she gave me all the goodies. She said that she had some fabric, she wasn't quite sure what to do with, and then I was talking about bags and she's like, I know what I'm gonna do with that. So she made me this gorgeous project bag with dragons. She said this was one of those fabrics, I believe from like Joann's when they were going out of business and you had to buy a 2-yard minimum. Like it was dirt cheap, but you had to buy 2 yards. She's like, what am I gonna do with 2 yards of this fabric? So she made me a project bag with this like scales, and it has the thread bed, some buttons. She wrote on the back like as a card. She put her information on there. She had found this dragon chart, she said for $1 at a sale. I said, man, the Kreinik alone is $4. So that was a good deal. So she passed that on. Some homespun that she said, I don't know why, I just knew you had to have it. And a spool, a really pretty spool. A nice wide one. And again, she's like, that just had to come live with you. So thank you, Eileen. And then table gifts. Let me slide them over. And then I need a little drink. Emmy's, this is my cup. She jumped right up. So table gifts. Donna and I this year went in on a table gift. I had found these reindeer. I don't know if I showed them last year or not. I had found these reindeer at Rennie's, which is a local, they get random stuff, they sell random stuff store. Like, it's not a salvage store, but I think they buy, like, stores have, you know, 20 of something left and they're trying to, it's out of season. They get weird stuff. So I got these at Christmas time and they were billed as a candle holder. And I bought all of them that they had. And I thought, that's a tart tin. I can put something in there. So I don't have one of the stitched ones, but I did record a little bit. I've been working on like my secret stitching video as I finish stuff up. So you will see it in December. So when Donna was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I said, well, do you want to do some stitching? So we found a chart. It was a stitching with the Housewives chart, one of their roundabouts, and she stitched it 3 times and I stitched it 3 times because we thought if we stitch it 3 times, then we'll each have one. And then we found out there were 7 people per table. So we stitched it 3 times and I said, oh, I'll stitch one for me. I have not yet stitched one for me. Amy said, I'll stitch one for you and then you don't have to stitch it again. And I probably am gonna take her up on that. So I ended up gluing one of my canning jar lid seals in there because I needed it higher so that then I could, this is gonna be the backing, and then I will mount the fabric on that, the stitch. So I kept like my templates and all that in there. Okay, my table. Verna did kind of the same thing Linda did, and I think this is a great idea. If you're ever stuck for table gift ideas, I think this is a great idea. So she gave us a kitted chart. Now, I believe this is a freebie. It's Pinker and Pumpkin, and all of hers are freebies. So it says Thanksgiving, and there's no page. It's in like 3 parts, right? Like the chart, but it says Thanksgiving. And she has the floss that it goes with, wrapped up in some lace that you could use as well. And then this teeny tiny little, you could do a finish in there, hoop, like to make a needle minder or something, and some floss rings. So that is from Verna. Like I said, Donna and I did a joint. Zip, zip, zip. Cheryl gave us these little pouches. They were all a little different with a frog pen. And then inside, some candies. I didn't know those. I thought I had eaten those. Another pack of needles and some little frog posties. So that's cute. I'm leaving the candy out too. Rebecca had scissors and a little package of needle threaders. These are the flower ones. I don't know how well you can see them in there. It's taped. They'll be all over. Oh, Cheryl also made us frog coasters. That was in there. That's gonna live in my retreat bag. Amy gave me this skein of floss, which it was at my spot one time, so I think she just gave this to me because it's purple. And then she gave us a little bag, and it had some of the hoops that you can finish in, like they're the wood grain finishing hoops. A little ripper, right on a little cute thing. And these really pretty floss trays, not floss trays, trinket trays, right? We all had them set down. Your scissors stick to them when you toss them over there. And mine had a butterfly. I believe Amy's didn't have a butterfly. There were 2 butterflies, we're twins. So, and then Cindy made us all these bags with this beautiful fabric. So project bags. They have pockets. I don't know how well you can see, but they have 2 pockets inside. That's fancy. So that's what came from Cindy. And that's all the stuff, right? Retreats generate a lot of stuff for all involved. So Friday we got there, we got in, we got settled, went up and checked in the room. dropped our stuff, put fridge stuff in the fridge, and then went downstairs and stitched. Donna and I tend to do a lot of our eating just in the room, like up in the hotel room. You know, there's some people that like to go out and try different restaurants and see different areas. There's some people that just eat at the hotel restaurants and stuff. They had a little concessions area that you could buy stuff from. We just bring stuff in because it's easier, and then we don't have to worry about it, and it doesn't take as much time, and then we can allegedly stitch more. So I picked up some pre-made sandwiches for Friday. Donna brought mac and cheese cups, the Annie's ones. They were very good. We had microwave soup. And then one night, there was a food truck festival going on at the hotel, like over on this big lawn, and a whole bunch of us walked down, and that was fun to see all the different food trucks. They had music. So many people from the community were there. I guess they do it all summer on Friday nights, and this was the last one of the season, and we'd never experienced it because in the past the retreat has been a little later. So this year the retreat was a little earlier. So I had a barbecued pulled pork bowl from the food truck. It was good. Saturday, Donna and I worked a shift in the annex, the shopping annex. I took like no pictures. That's how I tend to roll at retreats. So I apologize for there not being anything inserted because they don't exist. I did post a picture of our table on my Instagram, and that's about all I have. So we worked a shift in there. Pam had a number of trunk shows. She had an Atomic Ranch fabric trunk show. She had brought all of the fabrics she had from the shop and a lot of charts from the shop and floss from the shop. So there was lots of shopping going on. I just didn't need anything. There was a couple colors of fabric that if they had had them in the count that I like if they'd have had a 14 or a 28 in Mirkwood from Atomic Ranch, I would have bought. But they didn't, so pick those up another time. We stitched. There was raffles. We were losers. My whole table was losers. So that was fun. Saturday, just stitched. So yeah, just talked, stitched. I lost my voice a little bit again from the talking because it's loud, so you have to talk loud. And then by the end, I always have a hard time hearing everyone, and I feel bad, but there's been a lot of noise, and it makes it hard for me to hear. So yeah, and then we headed out Sunday morning. We were in no rush. We just got up, packed up, drove home, and then it was, you know, laundry, groceries, more laundry, apparently roasted tomato sauce. So that's it. I will wrap up. We won't do the giveaways this one. Those will be next week. We will get back to giving those away. And I have some new stuff to give away, and we'll do regular updates. I don't know how much stitching will be this week. A lot of stuff might look fairly similar, although I will be working on the Halloween sal and part 3 of the Satsuma Street Christmas sal because that just came out. So those will get some work. That'll be different. You may not even see these pieces. I might not get to them again for a while. We'll see. So, hope you guys are all having a good week. It's off to a good start. I know there was a couple different retreats going on in October, so I'm excited to hear other people talk about theirs, and kind of retreat season seems to be winding down, and then it picks up again in the spring. The next one I have will be Library Stitchers, which is in April. I know it is full, but the wait list is open, and then back to Stitch New England in the fall. That's what we do. We stitch Library Stitchers, and then we do Stitch Maine, which is a 1-day in the summer, and then we do Stitch New England. That's our retreat season. It's fantastic. So I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.